Hello, I'm Ralph, and by Elon Musk's own admission, 2022 is a make or break year for his mega Starship rocket. He says he'll need to launch one every couple of weeks all year to get to the stage where he's able to iterate a practical working version, which ultimately is what he needs. So in this show, we'll take a look at what SpaceX need to do in 2022 and the obstacles they face. So give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's go. At the moment, SpaceX are ploughing money into developments at a frightening rate, but all this is to build something that's profitable in delivering massive payloads into space, and they can't go on hemorrhaging cash indefinitely. They need to move beyond prototyping and testing this year. And one of the biggest issues that SpaceX are facing at the moment is churning out enough rocket engines, because they need 39 per launch, so more than 1,000 over the course of a year. And this unflown version of the Starship is just a boilerplate with no internal systems or cargo for life support for the crewed version. Musk sent a letter to his employees over Thanksgiving saying that the success or failure of Starship hinges on whether they can up their game and build significantly more Raptor rocket engines to supply the test rockets needed this year. Well, we're already 2 weeks into 2022 in this make or break year for Starship, and looking at their progress, which was phenomenal last year, they are actually doing so much more again at their prototyping base at Boca Chica. But the work they're now doing is less showy than launchers, because they're now building their ground operations, an orbital launch tower and stand, a giant propellant tank farm to store nitrogen, oxygen, methane and water, developing their Star Bricks, which is SpaceX's catchy name for the heat tiles that all future test flights will be fitted with. Another larger hangar for assembling rockets, more than twice the volume of their high bay assembly building, and the giant arms on the launch tower that will actually catch Starships and their boosters as they return to base, so they can be placed straight back onto the stand or on top of a booster ready to launch again. Now, it won't be anywhere near as simple as that, but the idea is to do things differently to how they've been done in the past. The idea being to make technology do much of the work and thereby reduce a lot of the maintenance, the refurbishment, and crucially reduce the relaunch turnaround time. So these advancements to manufacture and launch systems are necessary, but they're not as showy as launching rockets as they were doing every month or so last year. And herein lies the problem for Musk. He needs to launch around 2 prototype rockets each month in order to test everything out and allow for failures. He's already stated that the first few launches probably won't reach orbit or safely land, and he considers it a success if the first launch of the giant Starship and booster stack doesn't simply explode on the launch pad and destroy significant sections of the launch complex. The rapid manufacturing of rockets and the launch complex being much harder than simply building rockets, according to Musk. But critically, SpaceX need the Federal Aviation Administration to provide them a license to launch these huge rockets. And the environmental assessment part of this authorization has been delayed due to so much of the public wanting their thoughts to be heard. That means we're not expecting to hear whether SpaceX will get the license until the end of February at the earliest. That means they'll have already lost 2 valuable months of this year, even if they do get the approval. So I think SpaceX would like to be stacking up rockets ready to go when the approval comes. I'm still kind of expecting the approval will come, but you can't see the failures and identify improvements if you can't actually test them with launchers. So instead, they find themselves continuing with the important but less exciting groundworks and incremental improvements to the rockets. But the key thing about Starship for you and for me is that whether you think it's going to succeed or not is absolutely irrelevant. It was really exciting watching SpaceX's televised tests of the upper stage all last year and the will it, won't it explosions. But it's going to be even more exciting in 2022 for the public, because we're going to see the largest rocket ever built either fly, explode, or crash and burn at least once every month, maybe even twice a month by the middle of the year. And who doesn't want to see that? And if you like this video, here's a couple more we've made for you. Do click the like button. Let us know in the comments below whether you think SpaceX will get that authorization to launch, and subscribe to the channel because something tells me we'll be talking about SpaceX quite a bit in the months ahead.